right, hello everybody. Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here. Time is just after 9 p.m. on this Monday evening. Wanted to take some time, as we did a lot last week, talk about our forecast, which is once again a pretty busy one here in Central Texas. Now, this evening, and we'll get to the radar here in a moment, we do still have some storms out there. This one north of Llano and Burnett County. That one we're still keeping an eye on. It has a history of hail and gusty winds. Earlier, if you're watching us at 5 o'clock, when we began our 5 o'clock newscast, we had a tornado warning over Fayette County. That activity has kind of fizzled out now, but we're not completely out of the woods as far as rain through the rest of this evening, rain and storms through the rest of this evening. And then there's a whole lot more where that came from over the next 7 days. We have pretty much daily scattered storm chances through Thursday, and then Friday into the Mother's Day weekend. I think that is when our most widespread and heaviest rain moves in. That could include perhaps some flooding issues, which we will get to. And I see everybody is tuning in. Hubert says, bring on the rain. Yeah, we want rain. I don't want terrible flooding issues, but some rain we could certainly use. Michelle tuning in from Wimberley. James says, I don't get it, all this rain. It misses San Marcos. Yeah, there are certain places that when you get into these type of patterns miss out. San Marcos has been one of those places. But I'm telling you, I think by this weekend, just about all of us are looking at rain. Okay, so let's dive into things. Here's the radar right now. It's a little bit quieter than what we had back a couple of hours ago. But let's zoom into Burnett County. This was a storm that earlier prompted a severe thunderstorm warning for far northern Burnett County. It never included Burnett proper, but it did include Briggs and Lake Victor. Now, as you can see, there is a flood advisory still lingering from that where there was some heavy rain. But let's get focused in on where the storm is now. It's just north of Lake Buchanan, heading towards Cherokee, which is up in San Saba County, not in our area, but this is close to Taos. And if this tries to drop southward again, then all of a sudden we're getting back involved for parts of Llano County, perhaps including Llano proper as well as Stoles and the Taos area. This storm, although it's not severe right now, you see those reds and whites and purples. Certainly still some hail in there. That could, even though it's not severe, I do think that could be some hail up close to quarter size. I mentioned that flood advisory. This thing dropped some good rain over northern Burnett County. Flood advisory means minor flooding is possible. Remember, that's the step down below the flash flood warning. We had a couple of those earlier over Fayette County. But let's look at some of the radar estimates here around Briggs and Ocala and Lake Victor. There's the bullseye there on the east side of Briggs, 2.5 inches of rain. Good radar estimate. This same area was one of those jackpots back last week too, with some big rainfall. And hey, if we can get 1 to 3 inches of rain and not have any significant flooding issues, I think most of us would take that. And that's exactly what happened over northern Burnett County. Okay, let me back out the view though. I mentioned we are not done with storms completely for this evening. I'll give you the statewide view, then we'll get back in a little bit closer. You can see there's a new cluster of storms that has developed on the east side of San Angelo, and that will be something for us to watch. How far south that activity is able to make it. It's really interesting. There's essentially kind of 3 little mini clusters of storms. The one that is north of Burnett, north of Llano. And then let me get the pencil pulled out. Then this up here, which is severe, which is dropping south, but seems to be losing steam. And then this activity, which has been kind of hovering on, the west side of Mason, west of our hill country counties, and that now seems to be moving away from us. But I do still think in this zone especially, this is going to be where we continue to have the storm chance, at least between now and about 11 o'clock, maybe even to midnight. So over the next 2 to 3 hours, depending on how some of this plays out. So Mason, Llano, Burnett, Fredericksburg, and even parts of Blanco County. Models have really struggled with this weather pattern. Now, I was talking with meteorologist Shane Hinton earlier today. He said, this is going to be one of those weeks with the weather models, isn't it? And I said, absolutely. I do think that's going to be the situation. With that being said, we will see how this model says things unfold through the rest of this evening. It is taking us through the evening without much additional activity. it's possible that activity stays north of us, but again, it would not surprise me to see a little bit more storm activity bubbling up over Llano, Mason, or Gillespie County. In Austin, I do not expect storms through the rest of this evening or tonight. And then areas southeast that got a bunch of rain earlier, I think you guys get a break through the rest of this evening and tonight. But then tomorrow, we have another fairly high chance for rain. Here's our high-res model, which goes out 18 hours, and it's got, as a little area of low pressure comes in, it's got a round of showers and storms for the late morning into the early afternoon. Let me show you tomorrow's storm outlook, though. So here's our storm outlook for the rest of this evening. They gave kind of the broad brush marginal risk, the 1 out of 5. This is our storm outlook for tomorrow, which does not include any part of the KVUE area. So it doesn't look like an organized severe weather risk, but you know what, just to be completely frank with you, we didn't think we'd have tornado issues today, and clearly we did over Fayette County. So I think that this is going to be kind of a weather pattern that has some tricks up its sleeve. It would not surprise me if we had a couple of strong storms for tomorrow. And then here's the day 3 outlook for Wednesday, again, which is mainly highlighting areas out over West Texas and the Panhandle, but it would not surprise me if locally we had some strong storms. Here's another model and its take on how things could play out tomorrow. Again, we've got this little area of low pressure that's going to be coming through. I actually think that the models might be underdoing the coverage of rain a little bit for tomorrow as this comes in. You see a little bit of that swirl to it. Again, this low pressure system coming through. Showers, it's a cloudier day. It's a little bit cooler. We were up at 93, I believe, for the high today. I don't think that will be in the 90s tomorrow. So about this weather pattern, here is... I need to go in there and adjust our graphics, but here is our rain chances of 50% Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a 40%. So it's kind of scattered stuff between now and Thursday. But then Friday, storms start to become likely, a 60%, and then Saturday and Sunday, I think both feature widespread rain, especially Saturday. So want to go ahead and get this on your radar as early as possible. I know with Mother's Day weekend coming up, maybe you had plans to go out to the park with mom, do anything outside. The weather's not looking good for that. Not only is it not looking good for plans, but we actually, and I have not said this in a while, we have a concern for flooding issues, more widespread flooding issues, not just the localized, but what could be more widespread flooding issues as we get into this weekend. Again, especially Saturday and Sunday. These are what our rainfall totals could look like over the next 7 days. With a pretty widespread 3 to 6 inches of rain. I've seen some model data just coming in crazy, showing numbers even more than that. But the point being, this is going to be a pretty wet weather pattern late this week into this weekend. And with these type of totals, it is possible we could get into a situation where we do have some flooding issues. So we'll be watching that very closely for you over the next couple of days. And as we get a little bit closer, we'll be able to refine some of those estimated totals. All right, here's the 7-day forecast. Again, a little cooler tomorrow, high of 85, 50% chance of scattered storms. Wednesday, 50%, Thursday, 40%. It's hit or miss stuff through midweek. And then Friday, we get up to a 60, an 80% on Saturday, a 70% chance on Mother's Day. Highs are still going to be in the 80s, a little cooler. And then even into early next week, we could have some rain around, which again is why we have those totals, which are trending higher. Not that you're going to see that all at one time in one day. But I think especially in that Friday to Sunday window, we could have a couple of issues with some flooding concerns. So we will watch it closely for you. Okay, that is the update for now. When I was organizing this live video, the storm over Burnett County was still severe. Now, at the moment, we don't have any warnings. All of our flash flood warnings have been canceled. All of our T-storm warnings have been canceled as well. But we are going to continue to need to watch that activity over northern Llano County and then some of the new storms that have developed to the north, just to make sure those don't try and drift in here as well. So that's the situation. I will look through the comments. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If not, I will let you guys go. And what we're going to do this week, just because it's going to be likely a pretty busy week, is we'll do a Facebook Live pretty much each day. Shane will probably do one in the morning. I will probably do one in the evening. If days are looking even more active, then we'll have Jordan and Grace do one during the midday. So we'll keep you updated with everything as it plays out through this week. Wesley, can you do the future? Yeah. Can I see the future? I wish. I I can do my best, though. I'll show you the model, and that's what you meant. I gave this disclaimer earlier. This is not a situation where the models are just going to be slam dunk accurate this week. They're not. But as you can see through this evening, really the zone I'm going to watch, I'm going to circle this real quick. This area, I think these areas are going to be the spots that between now and 11 o'clock or midnight could have a storm that could still be on the strong side. So Llano County, Mason County, Gillespie County, I do not expect stormy weather this evening or overnight. For the Austin area, that's what our model is showing. Tomorrow morning looks fairly quiet as you head out the door, but then watch this. We've got this area of low pressure coming in, and that swings up by kind of mid to late morning. Some rain, maybe some storms coming in. Again, we don't see a big severe weather risk, but there could be a couple of strong storms in there for tomorrow. And just to kind of drag things out into the future a little bit more, again, there's just going to be a lot of uncertainty here, but what our models are showing, we go into Wednesday. Here's the afternoon on Wednesday. Things may be looking a little bit drier, keeping things quiet Wednesday night through Thursday. Okay, well, that is a new model run. Earlier model runs, the same computer model had a round of storms coming in Wednesday night, and that's just how fluid the situation is going to be. So these are the rain chances over the next 5 days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is when we get into the core of the rain chances. So I think there's going to be some folks over the next couple of days saying, where's all the rain? It's scattered, hit or miss stuff between now and Thursday, but then Friday and then especially Saturday and Sunday is when I expect the bulk of this rain to fall, and this could add up to 3 to 6 inches or so of rain over the next 7 days. There could be amounts even locally higher than that, which is why, again, there could be some flooding concerns as we get into the Mother's Day weekend. All right. Hazel, Wesley, you are welcome. Blanca, hello. Just got back into town. Where'd you go? Did you do something fun this weekend? Is May the last month for hail? I'm sure that we will have some hailstorms through the summer, but May, as we know, is certainly the most active month as far as weather, as far as severe weather. Here in Central Texas, this is on average our wettest month of the year. By far, we average over 5 inches of rain for the month. This is a month where, again, on average, each year is different, but on average, we do see the bulk of our severe weather in May. April, obviously a big severe weather month too. And then as we go into the summer, things start to trend drier. Severe weather, a little bit less of an issue, but that's not to say there couldn't be, periodic storms that could produce hail. There certainly could be. But I think May is when we're going to get the bulk of that activity. But with this being transitioning rather into an El Nino cycle, we've been in La Nina, tilting the odds towards warmer and drier than average weather. Now that it's El Nino this summer, I think things are going to be a little bit different. I don't think we're going to be as hot as what we had this past summer. I do think we're going to have more rainy and stormy days, certainly compared to last summer. I mean, we went like 2 months straight with basically no rain. I do think this summer is going to be a little bit different, but May is the month where we, on average, see most of our severe weather and most of our hailstorms. Okay, guys, I think that's going to do it. It is 9:16. I'm going to sign off of here, and if you guys could join us for KVUE News at 10 o'clock, we would really appreciate it. It will be Brian Mays, Quita Culpepper, Jeff Jones, and myself. We'd really appreciate it if you could tune in. If not, we'll keep the updates coming here on the Facebook page and KVUE Plus and all of our streaming platforms, and we will have more updates coming for you through the rest of tonight and over the next couple of days. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to y'all later and see you at 10.